You know, when Melania Trump travels, she doesn't just hop on a plane. We're talking military jets that cost a fortune per hour, armored limos that are basically tanks in disguise. She moves inside this bubble of insane security and private luxury. So, what does it really take to move a first lady around the world? Well, let's peel back the curtain.
And it really all starts with this one absolutely staggering number, over $600 million. Yeah, that's the estimated cost to taxpayers just to protect the Trump family. This single figure, I mean, it's the key to understanding the incredible scale of the whole operation we're about to get into.
So, a price tag that big just makes you wonder, right? What in the world does that actually pay for? How does a modern first lady really move through the world, both when the cameras are on and when they're off? Let's break it down. Okay, first up, you've got the official taxpayer-funded side of things. This is the government-provided security and transportation that surrounds her pretty much by default as First Lady. And believe me, it is a world all its own. For any official trip that's a long distance, her main ride is a Boeing C-32. But look, this is no ordinary jet. You gotta think of it as a flying command center. It's packed with secure communication systems, so her team can be in constant, real-time contact with the White House from literally anywhere on the planet. And the cost to run that flying command center, well, it's just under $39,000 per hour. Yep, that one figure covers everything. Fuel, maintenance, all the specialized gear that makes it one of the most secure planes in the sky.
And once she lands, things get just as serious on the ground. The star of the show is the Beast, a custom Cadillac limo that weighs a ridiculous 20,000 pounds. Honestly, it's less of a car and more of a rolling fortress, built to handle pretty much any threat you could possibly imagine.
The features on this thing are straight out of a James Bond movie. It's bulletproof, it's blast resistant, it's got run-flat tires, a sealed interior to protect against chemical attacks, advanced night vision. It even has enough medical gear inside to act as a mobile emergency room. The whole point is survival. And this security bubble, it goes way beyond just the vehicles. Remember when she and Barron first stayed in New York City after the election? The cost just to secure Trump Tower, it hit as high as $146,000 a day. That was a massive expense split between the Secret Service and the NYPD. But you know, the official government fleet, that's really only half the story. She also has access to the huge private transportation empire of the Trump Organization. And this is where all that security meets some serious, over-the-top luxury. The crown jewel, of course, is the family's private Boeing 757, famously nicknamed Trump Force One. And inside, it's just pure opulence. I mean, we are talking Italian leather seats stamped with the family crest, 24-karat gold-plated seatbelts and faucets, private guest rooms, the whole shebang. And what's wild is that the 757 is just the beginning. I mean, look at this. Beyond the big jet, they have Sikorsky helicopters for shorter trips, and for years they had one of the fastest business jets in the world, a Cessna Citation X. This isn't just a plane, it's basically a private air force. Back on the ground, the private car collection is just as crazy, valued at over $2 million. It's like they have a car for every possible mood. A super fast Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, a military-grade armored S600 Guard for when security is key, and of course, the classic, elegant Rolls-Royce Phantom for pure luxury. So, with this kind of official protection and private wealth on display, it's probably no surprise that her travel and her public appearances have often stirred up some pretty intense public debate and controversy. For example, remember her trip to a G7 summit in Sicily? She wore this Dolce & Gabbana jacket. The price tag? Over $51,000. Now, some people saw it as high fashion, but it kicked off a huge debate about whether that kind of extravagance was appropriate for a taxpayer-funded diplomatic trip. But nothing, and I mean nothing, caused a bigger firestorm than this jacket. On a visit to see migrant children at the border, she was photographed wearing a jacket with that phrase on the back. It just exploded. It created this massive controversy, with everyone from critics to supporters trying to figure out what the message was and why she would wear it there, of all places. And it wasn't just fashion. Other trips raised a lot of eyebrows because of the cost. A one-day trip to Toronto, for instance, cost taxpayers $174,000 in hotel fees, even though nobody actually stayed overnight. Then there was a 6-hour stop in Cairo that racked up over $95,000 in hotel bills. These kinds of expenses really fueled questions about fiscal responsibility. Now, this world of high-profile appearances and intense scrutiny has also led to something,
well, a little unexpected. It's one of the most bizarre and persistent conspiracy theories from her time as First Lady, the idea that she uses a body double. So the whole theory, which you've probably seen under the hashtag #FakeMelania, claims that a lookalike steps in for some public appearances. Believers will point to what they see as tiny differences in facial features or her acting unusually friendly. On the other side, scientific analysis using facial recognition found zero evidence. Experts say any differences are just normal things, like lighting, different camera angles, or even just makeup. For his part, Donald Trump has flat out denied the whole thing. He called it fake news, and he accused the media of photoshopping pictures to create a story out of nothing. He basically dismissed it as a deranged attack from his opponents. To really get a handle on all of this, we kind of need to zoom out and put her travel in a bigger context, both historically and globally. I mean, how does it stack up against other First Ladies from the past and around the world? And wow, does this put it all in perspective? Back in the 30s and 40s, Eleanor Roosevelt used to drive herself all over the country, a lot of the time with no security at all, just carrying her own pistol for protection. You just can't imagine a bigger contrast to today's armored motorcades. It's a different universe. This chart really shows you how much the costs have just exploded. The Obama family's protection cost about $97 million over their full 8 years. Now compare that to the Trump family. As we saw, it was over $600 million. That's a huge jump, mostly because of a larger family and all that frequent travel to their different private properties. But if you look on a global scale, her lifestyle starts to look a little different. When you compare it to figures like Imelda Marcos in the Philippines, with her 3,000 pairs of shoes, or Grace Mugabe of Zimbabwe, who was literally nicknamed Gucci Grace for her insane spending while her country's economy was collapsing, well, Melania's habits, while definitely expensive for us, seem a bit more restrained. And all of this leaves us with this one big final question. In this modern world, right, with 24/7 media coverage and very real security threats, what's the great balance? How do we decide what's the right price for a First Lady's security, her privacy, and her public image? It's a really complex question, and there are definitely no easy answers.